Kevin Stefanski quietly prepares Shedeur Sanders after benching Joe Flacco. Is Cleveland on the verge of a quarterback revolution? A season already in crisis. The 2025 NFL season is only a few weeks old, but in Cleveland, it feels like an entire year's worth of drama has already unfolded. The Browns, a team that spent the offseason preaching stability and discipline, have instead stumbled into chaos. The offensive line has been porous, the run game inconsistent, and worst of all, the quarterback room has become a swirling vortex of uncertainty. At the center of this storm stands Kevin Stefanski, the calm but calculating head coach who is quietly working behind the scenes. And at the heart of his plans sits the Browns' most intriguing storyline. Shedeur Sanders, the rookie quarterback drafted in the 5th round, who may be Cleveland's last, best hope to salvage the season. What began as a routine developmental year for Sanders has suddenly turned into one of the most closely watched quarterback experiments in the NFL. A mix of behind-the-scenes planning, on-air speculation, and growing public pressure. From roster cutdown day to QB room turmoil. To understand how we got here, we need to rewind to roster cutdown day. The Browns made a very clear statement. Joe Flacco would be the starter, veteran Dillon Gabriel would serve as the backup, and Shedeur Sanders, son of Hall of Famer Deion coach Prime Sanders, would hold the title of emergency quarterback. For most rookies, that role is a redshirt year in disguise. Spend time running the scout team, simulate opposing quarterbacks in practice, and soak up the playbook without the pressure of starting. But that narrative quickly began to unravel. Tony Rizzo, a Cleveland sports radio mainstay, stunned fans when he claimed that Sanders wasn't even getting those crucial scout team reps. "I'm hearing Shedeur is not even running scout team. He's literally watching everyone," Rizzo said on air, his voice carrying the weight of frustration that mirrored the fanbase's growing concerns. Was it hyperbole? Was it fact? Ross Tucker pushes back. The Browns have a plan. Former NFL lineman and CBS analyst Ross Tucker didn't buy Rizzo's story. At least not entirely. During the Browns' Week 2 matchup against the Baltimore Ravens, Tucker dropped an important nugget of information that could reshape the way fans view Stefanski's handling of his rookie quarterback. "They have an airtight plan down to the minute for those guys," Tucker revealed during the broadcast. Down to the minute. They run an extra period after practice so Shedeur can get 8 to 10 reps every day. Those words landed like a bombshell. Suddenly, the picture looked different. Stefanski wasn't neglecting Sanders. He was carving out a secret, structured development path. Extra practice periods, meticulously timed reps, and a focus on precision rather than volume suggested that Cleveland might be grooming Sanders for a bigger role than anyone anticipated. Kevin Stefanski's public commitment. Stefanski himself had hinted at this commitment earlier in the preseason. "I'm committed to his development, just like all our rookies," Stefanski said in late August. "We'll continue to focus on getting our guys better. That's what we will stay committed to, and that's what's important to me." At the time, those words felt like standard coach speak. Now they sound like a blueprint. The Browns' HC isn't just keeping Sanders busy. He's building a quarterback. The problem with Joe Flacco. All of this might have stayed a quiet subplot if not for one unavoidable reality. Joe Flacco has been bad. Not just below average. Not just rusty. Bad. In Week 2, the 40-year-old quarterback returned to Baltimore for a reunion game against the Ravens, and it was a disaster. He completed just 55.6% of his passes, threw for 199 yards, tossed a touchdown, threw an interception, and committed a brutal fourth-quarter fumble that the Ravens returned for a touchdown. By the time the final whistle blew, the Browns had been humiliated 41-17 and dropped to 0-2 on the season. Even worse, Flacco looked completely out of sync with the modern game. He went 0-for-5 with a pick outside the pocket, posting a staggering -1.60 EPA per dropback in those situations, the worst mark of his entire career. Simply put, Flacco looked like a man trapped in a different era of football. The rookie waiting game. That performance opened the door, however slightly, for the two young quarterbacks behind him. In garbage time against Baltimore, Third-round pick Dillon Gabriel entered the game and promptly went 3-for-3 with a touchdown. It wasn't much, but it was enough to ignite a quarterback controversy. And somewhere on that sideline stood Shedeur Sanders. Helmet on, clipboard in hand, absorbing every moment. Cleveland fans are no strangers to QB drama. From Johnny Manziel to Baker Mayfield to Deshaun Watson's suspension saga, the Browns have seen it all. But this one feels different. There's a sense that Shedeur might actually represent the future. A fresh start, a new direction, and perhaps a chance to finally modernize the Browns' offense. The media debate. Rizzo versus Tucker. The divide between Tony Rizzo's rant and Ross Tucker's reassurance has become the heartbeat of the Cleveland sports conversation. Rizzo insists that Shedeur's development is being mishandled, pointing to the lack of visible scout team reps as proof. Tucker, on the other hand, argues that what fans can't see, those extra private practice periods, is what truly matters. So who's right? Maybe both. Maybe neither. The truth might be that Stefanski is trying to walk a tightrope, giving Sanders enough reps to develop without exposing him too early and risking his confidence. It's a delicate balance, especially when the team is losing and the pressure from fans and media is mounting. A team in danger of collapse. The Browns' 0-2 start isn't just disappointing, it's dangerous. In the AFC North, where the Ravens and Bengals are perennial contenders and the Steelers are always lurking, an early losing streak can bury a team's playoff hopes. Cleveland's defense has been inconsistent, its offensive line leaky, and its quarterback play borderline catastrophic. Fans are already restless, and the Boo Birds were out in full force during the Baltimore game. At some point, Stefanski will have to make a decision. Stick with the veteran who looks washed or turn to youth and hope for a spark. Will Shedeur Sanders get his shot? That's the million-dollar question. Shedeur Sanders is not just another rookie. He's a former star at Colorado, a player who grew up in the national spotlight thanks to his father's fame, and someone with a natural ability to handle pressure. The Browns' extra practice reps, those 8 to 10 snaps per day, might seem small, but over the course of a season, they add up. They represent hundreds of repetitions, each one sharpening Sanders' mechanics, timing, and understanding of the offense. If Cleveland continues to lose, the calls for a quarterback change will grow louder. Dillon Gabriel might get the first crack at starting, but if he falters, the path could be clear for Sanders to take the reins. The Stefanski gamble. For Kevin Stefanski, this is more than just a football decision. It's a career-defining moment. The coach is entering his 6th year, and patience in Cleveland is wearing thin. He cannot afford another lost season. If he turns to Sanders too early and the rookie struggles, critics will say he ruined the kid's confidence. If he waits too long and the Browns are 2-8 by mid-season, fans will demand his job. It's the ultimate no-win situation, unless Sanders turns out to be exactly what the Browns need. The future of Cleveland football. The Browns have been searching for a franchise quarterback for decades. They've drafted them, traded for them, overpaid for them, and watched them flame out one after another. Could Shedeur Sanders finally break the cycle? His path from emergency quarterback to potential starter is still being paved in quiet practice fields and late-night film sessions. But if Stefanski's plan works, we might look back on these early weeks as the start of something special, the birth of a new Browns era. Final thoughts. The clock is ticking. Cleveland is running out of time to salvage the 2025 season. The team needs a spark, the fans need hope, and the locker room needs a leader. Joe Flacco may have been that guy once upon a time, but his best football is behind him. Dillon Gabriel is a safe option, but safe doesn't win divisions in the AFC North. That leaves Shedeur Sanders, the wild card, the gamble, the potential face of the franchise. For now, he's still waiting, still learning, still taking those extra reps after practice when no one is watching. But everyone in Cleveland is watching, and when the moment finally comes, they'll expect him to deliver. The Browns season, and perhaps Kevin Stefanski's job, may depend on it.